Welcome. I'm Bernadette Wagner, the Community Outreach Coordinator for Hospice of Washington County, and it's my pleasure to welcome you, our viewers, to Healing, Hope, and Health. This program strives to share information about the compassionate services delivered by the Hospice of Washington County and highlights the organization's incredible staff, dedicated volunteers, and generous donors that help it fulfill its mission. Our first guest today is one of those dedicated volunteers. Jordan Lysick is a member of the Hancock Community Life Center Advisory Council and also volunteers to lead Law for All, a monthly program held at the Hancock Community Life Center. Jordan was raised and attended school in Hancock. Later, she attended Hood College, where she earned a degree in psychology. After tragically losing her daughter in 2010, Jordan sought and found comfort in the grief counseling services provided by Hospice of Washington County. She also says she found the strength to follow through with her decision to pursue a law degree at Penn State Dickinson School of Law, where she specialized in legislative advocacy and public service. After graduating from law school, Jordan founded a nonprofit that serves children in the Quad State area and started her own law practice in her hometown of Hancock, where she lives with her 4-year-old son and her husband. Though busy, Jordan continues to serve on a number of boards at the local, county, and state level. She joins us today to talk about Law for All and to explain her motivation for getting involved in volunteering. Welcome, Jordan. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, so before we talk about Law for All, let me first thank you for all you do for our community. And knowing how busy you are, I was wondering if you could tell our viewers what motivates you to give back so much.
Well, first and foremost, I've benefited from a lot of the resources that are in this community. As you mentioned at the beginning, I sought the services of hospice back in 2010, and I was just thrilled that this service was available, and I want to help out in every way I can.
Mm-hmm. Well, we appreciate it. So what led you to start the Legal Workshops Law for All? At one time, I think you were going to call it Legal Matters with Jordan or something like that. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's evolved and it's now Law for All, which is a great idea. So tell us a little bit about how that came about.
Well, in practice, I quickly found that there are a lot of myths and misconceptions about the law, and the law affects our everyday lives, every single one of us. And I really want to help empower the community by sharing what I know about the law, sharing some legal basics that everybody needs to know that affects everybody on a daily basis. And I really think, hopefully, it will help strengthen our community and help people feel a little bit more in tune with the law.
Okay, good, and help them navigate some daily concerns, right?
Absolutely.
So the workshops are going to be held in Hancock, but can you tell us the dates and the times?
It's the third Thursday every month from 5 to 6 p.m., so there will be enough time to eat dinner afterwards.
Okay.
I try to move through the topics pretty quickly so that nobody gets bored.
So is each month a different topic?
Yes, each month is a different topic, and it's based on questions that I'm frequently asked by the community. As a matter of fact, I took into consideration some topical requests from people whenever I was thinking of the ideas.
Can you tell us give us a preview of some of the topics coming up?
This month, actually next week, June 15th on Thursday from 5 to 6 p.m., we'll be covering legal docs for college kids. I know graduation just happened for a lot of people, and believe it or not, college children need some legal documents. They are considered legally adults, and so I'm helping parents put together some documents that will help them ensure their children are safe while they're away from home.
And when they have those documents, will it actually, like I'm guessing medical records, it will make it safer for those kids to be if there's an issue that arrives at school?
Absolutely.
Right.
If there's an emergency that arises at school, it will enable physicians in the hospital and doctors to contact the parents immediately, let them know what's going on, and get them to come to the school immediately.
And what was the presentation you did last month?
Last month, we covered advanced directives, and we had a few turn out. And each month, not only do I cover the basics of whatever you need to know about this topic, we are always creating a document, so something physical to walk away with, that you can physically hold in your hand.
Okay, that's great.
So yes, more than just information. You walk away with something.
That's great. And is an RSVP required? Do you recommend that people contact you to let you know they're coming?
I do recommend RSVPing in advance, which can be done on my Facebook page or on my website. And the reason I ask for an RSVP is since we're creating documents, I like to make sure I have enough materials for everyone. I don't turn anyone away if you show up and you didn't RSVP. I understand life gets in the way sometimes, but I can't guarantee that I'll have enough documents.
Right, right. So Jordan, just before I go to our last question, I wanted to ask you, you specialized in advocacy. What does that mean? How does that translate into your law practice?
Well, I think every lawyer should be a public servant. That's a big part of the profession, and a part that some people overlook, I think, not everyone, but it's very important to get out in your community and share what you've learned through law school. I'm privileged and I have special knowledge to know about the law, and I want to share that with as many people as possible so they can make empowered decisions in their own lives.
That's great. Okay, and is there anything else you wanted to tell our viewers that they need to know or to bring to the workshops? Do they just bring themselves?
Just bring themselves. Pen and paper doesn't hurt, although I try to provide that as much as possible, but occasionally my ink pens don't work, so if you have a good pen that you like, bring your own.
Okay, that's great. Well, thank you so much for being here today.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Sure. Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor said, quote, "We educated privileged lawyers have a professional and moral duty to represent the underrepresented in our society, to ensure that justice exists for all, both legal and economic justice." End of quote. HWC is proud to provide space to Jordan at no cost to pursue this worthy cause. I'm grateful to Jordan for sharing her legal knowledge and expertise, not to mention all her time with all who attend Law for All. I'm also thankful that she serves on the Hancock Community Life Center Advisory Council and offers suggestions along with the other members on how that space, which is located in Town Hall, can best be utilized to meet the needs of the Hancock residents. If you, like Jordan, have a skill you are willing to share and want to lead a program at Hospice of Washington County's 3 community life centers, please contact me at the following number, 301-791-6360. In the meantime, if you're interested in learning more about legal matters, I encourage you to attend Law for All the third Thursday of each month at Hancock Community Life Center from 5 to 6 p.m. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
I'm the hometown favorite.
I'll outsmart you.
I will beat you.
I'll be surrounded by fans cheering me on.
There's no place like home for fighting cancer.
My turf.
My time.
My team.
Expert care, close to home. The John R. Marsh Cancer Center at Meritus Health.
Post 202 American Legion of Williamsport is proud to announce the campaign fundraiser for our World War II memorial for the benefit of our World War II vets who sacrificed and served for our country.
As a veteran, I would appreciate your support to our monument campaign here at the American Legion in Williamsport, Maryland. Thank you very much.
Join Post 202 in honoring the veterans and casualties of World War II by being part of the Memorial Community fundraising effort. And remember, no amount is too small.
Living with a chronic disease is a daunting situation, but with help from Life Care of Washington County, you don't have to feel overwhelmed. With our palliative care team, we can help you manage symptoms and the weight of illness. Life Care of Washington County is there by your side, maximizing treatment options, increasing the quality of life, and partnering with you as you face the challenges ahead. Life Care of Washington County, we're with you. You don't have to struggle alone. Call today for a private consultation.
Hi there, welcome back to Healing, Hope, and Health. Did you know that 1 in 3 adults 65 and older will fall this year and that falls can lead to serious health issues? Did you know that almost 50% of older adults have a fear of falling? Well, our next guest knows these statistics inside out, forwards and backwards, and a whole lot more. It gives me pleasure to introduce Mr. Lorenz Bonner, the Western Maryland Fall Prevention Coordinator and stepping on facilitator for the Washington County Health Department.
Thanks for having me.
Sure. Prior to starting for his career in public health, Mr. Bonner received a bachelor's degree in sociology from Mount St. Mary's University. He joins us today to talk about a collaborative effort between Hospice of Washington County and the Washington County Health Department to bring Stepping On to the Hancock community. Welcome, Lorenz. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, we're so glad you're here. So almost a year ago, I was talking with your supervisor, Mary McPherson, about trying to make this program happen. And there was a staffing change, and so it kind of fell through. But now you're on the job, you're here.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about Stepping On and the goal of the program.
Well, the goal of the program really is we want to build confidence in older adults and reduce falls. What we see a lot of is that as people age, they have this intense fear of falling. Because of this fear, they tend to stay indoors, and then if you're not moving, you're getting weaker, which increases your chance of falling. So with this class, we want to give people the confidence needed to go out, continue to live your life, continue to exercise, because no matter how old you are, you can always get strong, you can always improve on balance. So we just really want to help people continue to have the quality of life that they desire.
You're looking to help people not just live, but live fully.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
that's great. That's
Yeah.
great. So give us a few specifics. Are these workshops where you're doing instructional pieces, or there's exercise components? What's it look like on a daily basis?
Sure. So it's a 7-week course, and we meet for 2 hours at a time. And so we focus on 3 things. All right. So we want to focus on balance, strength, and then education. And so the education comes from me and another co-facilitator, but also community experts. So we have community safety experts come in, like it's a police officer or EMS. We have a pharmacist come in who speaks about medication.
And how that might relate to a fall.
Exactly,
right. Okay.
exactly. So we try to bring in people from the community that the participants know, because they may get tired of listening to me and my co-facilitator for 2 hours. So, yeah.
Okay, keep going. So what kind of exercises do they do then?
Okay, so the strength exercises, they're very basic. All right, so we're not training to be Olympic athletes here.
Right.
We're training not to fall. So an example of an exercise would be the sit to stand, where essentially you're sitting in a chair, and we practice how to stand up properly, right, and how to sit down properly without throwing yourself back into the chair. We work on calf muscles. So it's a lot of lower body exercises, but we try to make them low impact, because again, we're not training to be athletes, we're training to not fall.
Okay, perfect. And so this is going to take place at the Hancock Town Hall. That's where our office is, but there's also the Commission on Aging has a senior site on the first floor, and you're actually going to be teaching in that space.
Yes.
And how many people are going to be in your class?
Well, I don't know exactly how many people are going to be in there, but what we're shooting for is a minimum of 8 people, and then a maximum, I would say, around 20. The way I like to do these classes, if they're too big, I'm not able to give the attention to the participants that I need to, because you may have a few struggling. And if I have a class of 30, it's going to be harder for me to identify those who need more
additional
attention.
help, right.
Exactly, more help. So what I like to do is we'll take it to 20, and then if there's more people than that, I'll set up another class and
So
come
you
up.
would break it in half, or?
Yeah, I'll probably break it in half if it got to 20. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds
Sure.
good. Is there a cost to take this class?
No, the class is completely free. And for those watching, if you have a group of at least 8 people, I will come out and teach the class completely free.
Wherever they are.
Wherever they are. As long as you're in Washington County, I'll come out to you.
So if there's a church organization or a senior site or whatever.
Yeah, I prefer to go out to these places where people are already going regularly, because they may be more comfortable there and they may be able to ask more questions, as opposed to me having the class at the health department.
Okay, and I really appreciate that part about being willing to travel to other areas. And so how can people reach you if they decide that they want to do that?
So if someone wants to set up a class, just give me a call at 240-313-3302. I'm usually in the office Monday through Friday. I get in around 9 a.m., leave at 5. So just give me a call. You can leave me a voicemail if I'm not there, and we'll try to set something up.
Thanks so much, Lorenz, for being here.
Sure.
I'd like to thank Lorenz for taking the time to be on today's show and for his commitment to helping senior citizens lead healthy, active, enriching lives. Stepping On has been proven effectively to reduce falls by about 31%. So like he said, if you're interested, give Lorenz a call at 240-313-3302. You'll be glad you did. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
People don't realize it takes a lot to care for a family member in your home. John's dad was very headstrong, so I think that was a lot for him to get over and try to come to terms with that he had terminal illness. I would recommend everybody to get hospice involved at the get-go. When you first learn about it, get it set up. It's going to make it, I mean, it's terrible what you're going through already, but it's going to make it easier for you in the long run because we couldn't have done it without them.
Call Hospice today. Hospice of Washington County, when time matters most.
Living with a chronic disease is a daunting situation, but with help from Life Care of Washington County, you don't have to feel overwhelmed. With our palliative care team, we can help you manage symptoms and the weight of illness. Life Care of Washington County is there by your side, maximizing treatment options, increasing the quality of life, and partnering with you as you face the challenges ahead. Life Care of Washington County, we're with you. You don't have to struggle alone. Call today for a private consultation.
Welcome back. It's now my privilege to welcome Kibrab Gudeta, one of Hospice of Washington County's chaplains. Kibrab earned bachelor's and master's degrees in theology from universities in Ethiopia and Norway, respectively. He also attained a Master's of Divinity from Gettysburg Seminary and is planning to resume his doctoral studies at Virginia Union University. He joins us today to tell us how he provides spiritual guidance to those of varying religious traditions and to those with no religious traditions at all. Thanks for being here, Kibrab.
It's good to be here back.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here. So, Kibrab, first let me just ask, sometimes people call you chaplains, sometimes they refer to you as spiritual counselors. Do those words have different meanings, and do you have a preference?
They don't have different meanings, but I remember when I first started here, on my business card it says chaplain, but on my badge it says spiritual counselor. And this is a time when we started to transition based on the NCPHO
guidelines.
Guidelines. They came with a guideline, and in the guideline they say that a spiritual counselor is more inclusive to other spiritual care providers.
Okay.
So they're moving to use that term, and so it's.
And so that is a more inclusive term because chaplain traditionally refers to Christian traditions.
Christian tradition, even though chaplains are also professionally trained clergy to provide spiritual care, but a lot of people know them only in the institution, like an army and hospitals, and people are a little confused when they hear the term. So, but spiritual counselor is more actually uses the term spiritual, so it makes really relevant to what we do for our patients.
And with that in mind, that leads to my next question. With our county growing and becoming more diverse and having people from different countries and different traditions and backgrounds, how has your job evolved and changed in order to accommodate those needs?
Well, one of the things that they did in our hospice is training our chaplains, including myself, providing clinical pastoral education, which actually is a on-job training that prepares you to diverse setting, especially when you provide spiritual care for people, that allows you to learn a lot about others' tradition than your own. And we come from one tradition, but we know that we go out and meet people from various faith tradition. So that's one thing that they did. Training was one of the big things that we tried to do. And another thing is also trying to recruit chaplains from different traditions. If you come to our chaplain meeting, each one of us belong to different faith tradition. And at the same time, also a different culture. I wasn't born and raised in this culture, but I I work with them and try to actually make sure that we reach out to people who are from different backgrounds.
Yeah, and it seems to me that that would both be enriching for you and for the people you work with.
That's true, and sometimes our conversation actually starts by telling about myself.
Yeah,
and
people
then,
say, where are you from?
Yes,
And-
the first
right.
question that I get is that, and then from there, it really kind of like we meet not as a professionals, but at a personal and human level, that we get to know each other.
Right.
And the thing for me is that if I am going to ask very personal question about this, their life, and it's fair for them to ask about me and to get
Sure.
to know me. So I share about myself, which actually creates bond and relationship.
That's mutual vulnerability.
That's true. And
Yeah.
even spiritual care is very mutual. As much as you give, you also take from
Yeah.
that relationship that you create.
That's great. Kibrab, one of the things I was going to ask you is, how is it, what steps do you take to determine where a patient is, or do you just ask them right out what they need? And the other question that goes along with that, if a patient has belongs to a church and has a pastor that they currently deal with, what is your role in that situation?
The first thing we do is when we are assigned, every patient that is admitted to hospice is assigned a chaplain right away along with other team members. So one of the things we do is the initial visit. During the initial visit, we do the spiritual assessment, the spiritual need of the patient. And then during that thing, we actually, the good thing to know about the patient's need is to ask. So
Right.
we right away ask them concerns that they have, questions that they have, issues that they're dealing at a daily basis, anything that they're kind of like struggling and wrestling with from a spiritual point of view.
And you also are willing to work with the families of the patients, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And we're not only there for the patient, but we're also there for the family and also for our own staff who are taking care of these patients. So as a chaplain, you have to make sure that you're available for your staff, family members, and also the patient. And another thing is, if the patient had their own pastor, what we try to do is to work with them. That we're not there to replace them, but we were there to work with them. And especially with our training being a lot of time in a crisis situation, it really goes very well together when we work together with other clergy members in the community.
Well, thank you so much for taking time to be here today.
Well, it's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Sure. I'd like to thank Kibrab for sharing his thoughts on spirituality with us today. Don Skiji Cooley, a Unitarian theologian, says, "The diversity of human experience is astounding. The fact that we can come together for a common experience is nothing short of a miracle." End of quote. To me, the way Hospice of Washington County spiritual chaplains serve the diverse needs of our patients and compassionately journey with them on their journey towards the end of life is no less a miracle. Before I introduce our last guest, we need to take a short break, but we'll be right back. Stay with us.
People, tend to want to do things with people they know and trust and respect. And so we see that that's something that happens again and again, and customers are repeat customers because they have that feeling. And the word of mouth that they share with one another and to their peers is so important in terms of generating additional business from us because they really like the feeling that this is a place you can feel good about.
Post 202 American Legion of Williamsport is proud to announce the campaign fundraiser for our World War II memorial for the benefit of our World War II vets who sacrificed and served for our country.
As a veteran, I would appreciate your support to our monument campaign here at the American Legion in Williamsport, Maryland. Thank you very much.
Join Post 202 in honoring the veterans and casualties of World War II by being part of the Memorial Community fundraising effort. And remember, no amount is too small.
It's here. It's breathtaking. It's ultra fast. Gigabit Internet. Fiber to your home. Fiber to your business. Antietam Cable, making Hagerstown a gigabit city.
People don't realize it takes a lot to care for a family member in your home. John's dad was very headstrong, so I think that was a lot for him to get over and try to come to terms with that he had terminal illness. I would recommend everybody to get hospice involved at the get-go. When you first learn about it, get it set up. It's going to make it, I mean, it's terrible what you're going through already, but it's going to make it easier for you in the long run because we couldn't have done it without them.
Call Hospice today. Hospice of Washington County, when time matters most.
Welcome back to Healing, Hope, and Health. Our next guest is a Navy veteran and a lifetime resident of Boonesboro, where he owns and operates the Yellow House restaurant located at 8005 Old National Pike. It's my pleasure to introduce Lou Thomas, a 30-year member of the Washington County Restaurant and Beverage Association and the organization's current president. Mr. Thomas is also past president of the Maryland State Licensed Beverage Association, where he taught a course entitled Techniques of Alcohol Management. He joins us today to talk about a recent golf tournament that the Washington County Restaurant and Beverage Association held on May 18th to benefit Doey's House, the first ever hospice house in Washington County. Welcome. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Thomas, before we talk about the golf tournament, tell us a little bit about the Yellow House restaurant, how long you've owned it, what your hours are, and if you have any house specialties.
Sure. I've been the owner. It'll be 35 years in August.
Wow.
My wife and I, and we've got more into the food end of it now. Later on, and our specialties Thursday nights are wing nights. Been very successful. We're very proud of that. We are doing crabs now too, so like Wednesday night we had a crab feast and it went real well, and we're just continuing trying to add nice food products for the customers.
That's great. Well, thanks for doing that. I'm going to have to check it out. So this golf tournament was held at Beaver Creek on May 18th, and I remember it was a beautiful day, but it felt more like July than May. It was stinking hot. It was hot. And it was held in memory of John Zombro. Who is John Zombro and why do you honor him?
John Zombro is a past member of our organization, actually, and he was on a board member, and he was a former owner of Central City Liquors, and he founded that store. This was his idea.
Oh, the golf tournament was his idea.
He came up with the idea of let's have a charity golf tournament, and my wife doesn't play golf, and my wife and John got together and planned things out, and we've been going, I think, 26 years now. The last 11, we've called it the John Zombro Memorial for all the work that he put into it. And if I remember, and actually John passed away with cancer, and so naturally hospice is close to all of our hearts. And if I remember correctly, I think our first recipient was the Cancer Society, so it's kind of ironic, but we've changed the charity year to year, hospice being one of our main.
Well, we're very appreciative.
Thank you.
How many golfers participated in the tournament?
I think it was roughly 128. It was pretty well full field. It was, as you know, it was a hot day, but it was a fun day.
It was a really fun day. And what was the format?
It's called a captain's choice, scramble, as some people would remember it, but you play a foursome and you play the best ball of the foursome.
And so you've given to this year to Doey's House. Can you tell us some of the other organizations?
The year before we gave it to Brooks House. We gave it to Doey's House before that, and hospice has been one of our main recipients for several times, and like I said, obviously because it's close to all of our hearts.
Well, we're so grateful because, as you know, Doey's House will provide quality end-of-life care for people in our community, whether they can afford it or not. So your generosity is really well received with much gratitude.
Thank you, our honor.
What was your favorite memory of this year's golf tournament? I guess I always listen to my husband talk about golf, and there's always a funny story he has.
Well, I'm a terrible golfer, so the funny things, I guess, could come rolling out, but actually just remembering the camaraderie and everybody having a good time. And this year, quite a few of the recipients of the winners of the tournament actually donated their money back to the charity. So which was able to give the amount of money that we were able to give.
Well, please extend our gratitude to them.
We will, without a doubt.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you taking the time to be part of today's show.
Thank you, appreciate it.
I'd like to thank Mr. Thomas for being a guest on today's program and for representing the Washington County Restaurant and Beverage Association, which generously donated $3,125 to Doey's House. Excellent end-of-life medical care, compassionately delivered, regardless of one's ability to pay, is what Doey's House promises every resident of Washington County. Hospice of Washington County is grateful to all the donors who helped to make Doey's house possible. It could never have happened without the support and generosity of people from our diverse community coming together to make this dream a reality. Hospice of Washington County is grateful, and our community should be proud. Thanks for joining us for today's show. Until next time, may your sorrows be healed, your hopes realized, and your good health maintained.